Hey, we have some really cool stuff to cover with you today. I was thinking back about one of the questions I get a lot from students. I get all these questions about how to start in practice, how do you get new patients, what do you do, how can it contribute to my community, how can I do this, what does this look like? One of the most prevailing questions we get is about work agreements. What's a good work agreement, what's a bad work agreement? And it's always a hard topic unless you just really get into the nitty-gritty. So I've got 12 different parts of a work agreement I'll explain to you today. I want you to pay special attention to number 7, number 9, and number 11. Those ones are going to affect you the most. But through my history of having doctors work in my office, we've had 5 doctors that we didn't have the right agreement, we didn't have the right training for them, we didn't have the right skills to help them through the process, and it didn't work out. But in the last 8 years, we've had 8 successful doctors work with us. They've gotten great results. They've made great money. They had a lot of fun, and we just love them, and we help them out however we can, whatever we can. We left in good terms, and a lot of that has to do with the agreement we have and how they can be successful, how they can reach their goals, and what that looks like. So they've helped us see over 25,000 patients in the last 25 years. So we've helped a lot of people, which is a great thing. Now we got to have a lot of fun and make a lot of money. So let's talk about what's coming up with this. So number 1, when we're looking at the work agreement, I pulled up my work agreement we have now. I have an old work agreement, which I didn't enjoy as much. And one gives freedom, one tries to restrict the other person. And so we want to look at these from the freedom side, not the restriction side. So first thing you're going to find in the agreement, number 1, is the parties involved. Very top is going to say this agreement is entered into between this person, this person. I have seen where they've got this person, this person, this person, this person. All of a sudden you get 2, 3, 4 parties involved in this agreement. It seems really dangerous because it seems like you get in a disagreement with all these different people. And you have one other person you're responsible to for this agreement. And it might be a group, might be a group of doctors or someone that owns a practice, but only one name I would think would be at the top. Which, by the way, I'm not an attorney. This is not legal advice, so do with what you want. Take it to an attorney and have a look over any actual agreement you get. But number 2 is who brings what to the practice? Who brings what to this agreement? Who's going to provide the office space, the employees, the training of the employees? Who's going to hire them? Who's going to what do you bring to this arrangement? So one of ours says that we bring the office space, we give you the different things you need to be successful, we give you the training, and so we help you with all this different stuff. Number 3 is compensation benefits. We're digging into that a little more down below, but the benefits are something that in our work agreements, not actually in the work agreements, in the policy manual. So when you're looking at the work agreement, you got to look at the whole thing, which is a policy manual. You want to look at their vision, their mission, statement. How does this align with you and what you want to do? So compensation benefits includes health insurance. They have a 401k, which we offer health insurance, a 401k, vacation time, which is covered so your patient's taken care of, and stuff like that. So that's under compensation benefits. We'll get more of the compensation side in just a minute. Confidentiality agreement. You're not going to go tell other people or competitors who the patients are coming in. It's kind of a HIPAA violation anyways, so you wouldn't want to do that. That's number 4. But it also says that you're not going to take records and things like that because you need to protect the practice. And if you're a 2nd, 3rd doctor in the practice, one guy leaves, you don't want them taking part of your practice with it either. So that's a big application point. So it's not just you versus the clinic owner, it's you protecting yourself in the future. Number 5 is debt and financial obligations. I have seen this worked numerous ways, and I had one guy say that when they bought a new x-ray machine, he thought he was going to be bonusing, but he had to pay for part of the x-ray machine. Make sure that what your responsibilities are in that relationship. Are you paying for things? Are you paying to upgrade? Are you paying for renewal and refreshing of the space? Or are you limited only to paying for things that you buy out of your own lunch? Okay, you should buy your own lunch most of the time. We buy a lot of food. But anyways, so you should buy your own lunch, but you shouldn't, in my opinion, I would be wary of an agreement that said that I was responsible for debts of the office. If the IRS comes in and wants to audit and says this office owes this much money back, the taxes are something that the owner in my office takes care of. So the person is not responsible for that. Number 6 is this agreement transferable? So here's why this is important, because sometimes people want to move, they want to do this, want to do that. Is the agreement, if it's a really good agreement, you want it to stay intact. If they need to sell it, if the person dies, so you know exactly what your agreement is. Other people want to try and renegotiate all the time. I kind of like having a solid agreement that's transferable. If something happens to me, the practice keeps running and you keep making money. You don't have to worry you're going to be cut on a percentage or something like that. Number 7, terms of employment. This is one I said pay special attention to. How long are you signing up for? I've seen people sign a 5-year work agreement, seen them sign a 3-year work agreement. In our practice, we don't have a time limit. We want to work together because we want to work together because we're both getting great results. We like seeing each other. We like working together. Just like my adult kids, we hang out, we sit around a campfire, and we talk about things because we want to, not because we have to. I think sometimes those terms are put in there for fear that they're going to put a lot of money out, they'll put some energy into training you, and you're going to leave. You know, I want us to have a mutually beneficial relationship so that, why wouldn't we? I'm interested in the relationship all the time. With my marriage, with my family, I'm interested in investing in the relationship all the time. So I don't want to have to limit and lock down somebody on time. Some people do it, I think it's based on fear that they're going to invest in you and you're going to leave. Or some people want it because it feels safe to have a 2-year, 3-year agreement. We ask people when they come in to give us a 2-year commitment, which means, hey, from where we're standing right now, let's get 2 years on the road. I think you're going to find you've learned a lot, you've grown a lot, you have different opportunities, may have a different perspective, want to stay with us, or you may want to do your own thing, but that's okay. But that's kind of what we're looking at with that. So the terms, how long are you signing up for? Number 8 is the entire agreement. And that's at the end of the thing saying this is the entire agreement between us. Anything we talked about before this, is if it's not in this agreement, isn't actually legally valid. So let's make sure we're real clear on what we're agreeing to. And if there's anything else that needs to be in writing so that it's added to this agreement. Does that make sense? Good. I'm glad. The non-compete, that's number 9. This is what a lot of people are concerned about. And non-compete is important for the clinic owner to want to invest money in training you, invest money in getting your patients for you, invest money and time in all these different things. But it needs to be within reason, and there's a lot of arguments legally about what's reasonable, if it's 3 miles, 5 miles, 10 miles. It depends a lot of times on your region. If you're out in Nebraska, it could be a 20-mile because everybody has to drive 20 miles to get to your office. If you're in Kentucky or in a city, it might be a mile or 2 miles. It all depends on the region, how many patients, where the patients actually come from, as to what's considered reasonable for distance. There's also time. You know, how long is this enforced? So non-compete, a lot of people worry about that. I think part of that comes from a lot of people worry about where they want to be and not who they want to work with. And I hear this all the time. If you could go for 2 years, for a period of time, whatever it is, and work with the best person in the world, say you're an actor, you want to work with Tom Cruise, and he offers you a job working with him wherever he's at, would you go to that? If you found this great opportunity, would you go to that because you'll learn and have something you take back to where you want to go? Most people would. So one of the things I want you to think about when you think about where you want to be, where do you want to end up is different than where you want to do an associateship a lot of times. So when you get those different, you say, I really want to learn from this person, I think I want to learn this, I want to do this, I want to grow this. And that it's not necessarily 0 minus 200 degrees every day, okay? I can live in this environment, then I think it's a good thing to consider. And so the non-compete isn't as valid, isn't as concerning in that situation. Number 10 is dispute resolution. So if we have a disagreement about something, how are we going to resolve that? Are we going to wait and go to trial and have all this expense on both sides? Are we going to take it to arbitration? Are we going to take it to somebody to help us settle this disagreement and figure it out first with less expense on both sides? And that's number 10. Number 11 is important. That's I said pay attention to number 11. Compensation raises. How much money can you make? What's your top limit? What does it cost for you to live? Now, when we were students, we were PO. We couldn't afford the other 2 letters to be poor. We would have been happy if we could have been broke, because it means we'd have had something before we got there. But the bottom line is compensation, when you look at it from not having any money and you're trying to get some money, a certain amount seems like a lot, but when you get there, you realize it's not as much as it sounded like. In today's market, I've seen where people are starting and looking at $60,000 being a lot of money. Most people consider a lot of money to be double what they make now. So if you have an opportunity for $60,000 and you take it and break it down into the constituents of what rent's going to cost you, what your student loans are going to cost you, stuff like that, how are you going to make more money so you can afford things you want to do and support the lifestyle you're looking for? So we try and get our doctors to six figures within the first year, and we've been pretty successful about that. Not to brag, but I'm pretty proud of them, so that's a big deal. Okay. And number 12, the last thing is governing laws. So if there is a dispute, what laws are going to govern this? And ours, we live in Kentucky, so it's governed by the state of Kentucky. And that's the last set of things in the agreement. You'll find the very last page has all the boring stuff called general provisions. And it goes through all the stuff saying, if there is a dispute, we're going to run it through the courts in Kentucky. It's going to be this kind of court and not this kind of court. So it's just a real basic understanding of we don't have to worry about some of the jockeying that can cost both parties a lot of money, a lot of time, and a lot of frustration. If the relationships go great, none of this is even necessary. It's when they go bad that this becomes a big thing, and knowing what you're getting into in case it goes bad, this is kind of like an insurance policy, know what you're doing with your work agreement. So if you have any questions, shoot me an email, drlau@lauchiro.com, no periods, drlau@lauchiro.com. I'll try and get back with you and give me ideas of more videos you'd like to see. I'd love to cover more stuff that's important to you and that makes a difference. I'm Dr. Lau. Have a great day.